Okay, let's do it. In this video, you're going to learn how to automate your prompts using make.com so you can distribute them at scale and with your team. So as you start to use large language models, so ChatGPT and Claude, more and more, you'll start to develop prompt chains and prompt templates that you use every time you do X task. For example, create a marketing campaign. And this was a prompt that I used a lot last year, so around October, and I ended up building it into a no-code platform so I could use it in 30 seconds instead of 5 minutes anytime I wanted to use this. And as you get good at this, you will be able to build like monsters like this, but for now we won't go over this. The thesis behind it is that you replicate your expertise onto a prompt and then productize it so anyone can access your knowledge at scale without your involvement. In this video, we're going to start with the theory and then we're going to do a tutorial on make.com. So by the end of this, you will be able to build one of these. You will want to automate this into a no-code platform so you can save time when you are running these prompts, but also allow other people to use the prompts without them having access to them. So more on this later. First of all, let's look into the components of a prompt. You have two things. You have the actual prompt, which is instructions on what to do, what task to do, and how to do it. And this is what we will be automating for now. And then you have user inputs, which is the information you give the large language model to do the task. And you'll understand a bit more how this works. But for example, for this prompt, specific offer called email generator, you can see that we have role, skills, task, guidelines, example, and again, your task to remind it. It's all part of the prompt, so this will be a static variable. So it doesn't matter what the problem is that we are writing this email for and what the solution is. It can be a problem, can be lack of leads, or it can be weight loss, so too much weight. The email will always be written in these guidelines. But then you have user inputs, which will be the dynamic variable, which as you run this at scale, user inputs won't ever be the same. So for example, if you are giving this to a client in the health industry, he will give different user inputs. This is obvious, but I'm going to explain it. He will give different inputs as if you were, for example, writing an email for a consulting client or a construction client. So we will want to automate this part right here and then create a way to capture these user inputs, and then with these user inputs run the user inputs through this prompt. To simplify it, in this case, this is a prompt to create a type of email to be sent to cold prospects. The prompt will always be the same, therefore we will automate it. As this will be used by other people, user inputs will vary from user to user. Therefore, we want to build this as a dynamic variable. And this is what we will be building. So imagine this is the prompt we want to automate, and this is the prompt that we will automate. This is where we will capture the user's input, and I'll show you in a bit how to do this, but this is a simple Google form. Don't need to get too fancy with technology. We can use the most basic ones, given that the end product is what we want. This is how we will automate it. So using these large language models, in this case ChatGPT, and this will be the end result. So all these prompts will run, it will add the outputs into a Google Doc, and it will send it via email to the user that filled in. As you can see, we have here, what is your email? Okay. Again, the thesis behind it is that you replicate your expertise onto a prompt and then productize it so anyone can access your knowledge at scale without your involvement. So for example, if you are the best sales rep in your company at writing emails, it might be a good idea to productize it into one of these no-code platforms so everyone in your team can use them. Okay? We will do this with the most basic use case so you can understand the theory behind it, and I know I have a typo here. So one Google Doc delivered to your email box. Keep in mind though that there is no limit as to what you can do with this technique. Example. One of the most recent builds we did includes prompts for market research based on Reddit comments and top consulting firms articles, then has prompts for content strategy, video sales letters, paid advertising, cold email, email flows. So this was something that I was doing a lot for clients and I wanted to automate this. This is how the automation looks. Took a lot of time, but yes. You build the prompts once, no matter how long it takes for the output to be to your standard, and then you can run it at scale forever. Your team can use it, you can sell it to clients, etc. This is the leverage here. You build your expertise and creativity into a system like the one below and can distribute it a million times over. So if you look at this one, the user will only receive a document with an ICP breakdown. In this case, the user will receive all of these documents, and it was 6 at the time I took this screenshot. Right now it's 8 because we built a couple more features into it. But you can see how this looks. Now we're gonna go over step by step how to build this. In case you don't want to see it and you just want to build it yourself, you can email me at this email. I won't say it so the AI doesn't catch my email. You can email me here to get access to the SOPs. So we have literally SOPs for every single step, and we also have tasks in case you want to try it out for yourself but don't know what use case you will build it for. And if you want me and my team to build you one, you can book a call at this website, so call.com at Revampify. And now let's get into make.com. So when you get into make.com, there's one big fundamental thing that you need to understand. You have a trigger, which is anytime an X action happens, and then you will have actions. So every time, for example, a row in a Google Sheet is added or updated, X actions will occur. In this case, the trigger that we will build is anytime someone fills in the form with what is your problem and what is your solution, I want you to take that information, so those user inputs, run them through large language models, and then send over the output as a Google Doc to the client. So the easiest way, you can do this a lot of ways, through Google Sheet, through Google Form, so not a get a form, but watch responses. You can do this with Airtable forms. In this case, I found the easiest and most simple way to do it is via webhook. A webhook is simply something that catches information. So this is how we want to do it. We want to go here, we want to create a new webhook, we want to copy address to clipboard. And then we're going to go to Google Forms and create a new Google form, which is where we will capture information. And we're going to enable it test YouTube. Okay, and on the top right you will have this button here called add-ons. If you've never done this, you won't have it, so you gotta go here, you gotta go get add-ons and write make for Google Forms. And this is the one. You can see here it says installed. After you've installed it, you will get this. So you want to click this here. Okay, let's do it again. Configure webhook, enable, and you want to paste this. In theory, what is this doing? And I can show you here. What is your name? If you go here, send. This webhook is now listening to information from this Google form. So every time someone comes here, my name is Jose. Anytime someone fills this in, it gives you information, it will come here. You see, green, okay? And how do you see what information was run? If you're in make.com, press over response, you'll go here to payload, and you can see what is your name. My name is Jose. So this is how we will capture information. You need a couple of basic ones. you will always need what is your email, so you can send over the output to the email that was filled. And in this case we will put who is your ICP and what problem do they have. So these are the answers, the questions that we want answers for, in order to then be able to do, in this case we're going to do ICP research. So we're going to be automating, where is it? We're going to be automating this prompt chain, these steps of prompts into make.com. Okay? So now we're getting information. If I were to add a large language model, so action, it's looking for information. If I were to add a large language model here, you can see that I only have what is your name as a variable that I can put here. Although I just added who is your ICP and what problem do they have. This is what you need to do in order to get the other information. You have to run this module again, and let me show you how you do it. You right click your button and run this module only, and you can just put TTTT because we don't need the correct input for now, so that we get this information. And now if we come here and left click, remember here it's right click, here it's left click. Under payload, this is the information we now have. And let's put a very simple prompt, user text and text. I use Claude, you can use GPT, it's the same, but I use Claude. You can see in GPT you have the tokens as well. You can select your model and then you can add message here, and either system prompt or user prompt. And what is the difference between both, you ask? So on Claude we also have system prompt down here. System prompt is a way of providing literally how it says context and the instruction. Here it's the, okay, with what information will you do it? So if I show you a prompt right here, for example, this one, which is what we are building, a system prompt is instructing. The role, the user is giving the information in order for it to do it. This is what we will be doing here. So let's remove this, and for now let's just put, so we can see how the logic works, provide me a summary of the information provided below. The ICP our user is targeting, and we will put here. And then after you put this red placement, you want to put something like this, so something to separate it. And I'm going to explain this. The problem that ICP has. Okay. And now we're going to come here. We're going to reduce this temperature to 0.08. The higher the temperature is, the more he will make up answers. And we're going to run once, and I'm going to explain to you why we put it like that. Let's say my ICP is a 22-year-old CEO of a construction company. He inherited his company for his father. He is not fit to run the company, has no previous experience. What this will do now, we will collect the information here and Claude will run. And why did I said for you to do that? You can see here, this is what we wrote, the ICP our user is targeting, and the red placements, if you remember correctly, the ICP our user is targeting, and we put the red placement. The red placement will be replaced by the information that was placed on the Google form. So like this. And we want to divide it like this, with a comma, let's say, or a separator, a gap, so that large language model can recognize, okay, what is what, and the problem the ICP has. You can see a simple summary. The ICP is blah blah blah. The main problem is that it lacks the necessary experience. Okay, now let's go on to build what we want. And what are we doing? Okay, so we are asking for a detailed psychological analysis into this ICP. So I'm just gonna start prompting. You are a master human psychologist. You have been tasked with doing a full analysis of an ICP so we can better understand how to help him and how to market to him. You will be given information about this ICP in order to perform your analysis. You will then report back. Superior, give him 10-minute presentation with your findings, starting like this. This is what I found. And now for the task, we're gonna put this is the user information. Okay, just wrote a very simple prompt. What are you doing with what information? Don't forget to save it, and we're gonna run once. And now I'm gonna come here so I can just copy and paste. Let's see what it does in this first prompt. We're still at the A of the ABC, so we still have a long way to go. I'm going slowly so you can better understand what we are doing here. Okay, and you can see the response here. For example, now I would come here, follow prompts. I want you to do it as one long speech without any bullet points, numbers, or anything of the sort. Remember, you are presenting this in person. Okay, and we will see the change here in a bit. Actually, I can show you right now the change that it make, because I'm not going to go over prompting in this video because I went through it a lot in other videos. But you will want to always iterate your prompts based on the output that you get. For example, I saw the numbers there. I don't like it. I want it to be one long speech. So this is now what I'm optimizing the prompt for. So as you go, you want to remember, I wrote it here. Yeah, no matter how long it takes for the output to be to your standard. So we need to make the output to our standard. Okay, now I love this. Now keep this in mind. This was for 23-year-old CEO of a construction company, and he is not fit to run the company. Let's pause here. Let's say this prompt here was built based on your expertise. You as the expert in your field know what information you need about an ICP, how it needs to be formatted in order for example, your copywriter to go and write copy for that ICP. What you are doing here is this prompt, this step right here is completely up to you to build it. And then this is the dynamic variable, because now I could go here and I could place 1,000,000 ICPs here, and I would get the same format of output with the same level of detail, but with the analysis for different ICPs. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is the leverage here. And this is only one prompt. Now we're going to go over 3-4 more prompts until we are. So I'm going to place here first prompt, and we're going to go to the second prompt, which is, okay, three. This is what I'll always do. So I'll reduce the temperature. it's the same information, so we are using the same information. So you can just copy this. And now I'm gonna also copy this. And now, okay. And now we're gonna change the task. So you have been tasked with providing an inner monologue of ICP 10 minutes before going to sleep, where he is thinking deeply and in silence about his problems and the different ramifications of that problem. I want to understand the different layers of thinking that he has when thinking about this problem and how he interconnects one thought with another. So how does he go from I'm not fit to X, Y, and Z to X person will think this about me. Okay, we're gonna rename this to inner monologue. We're gonna save and we're gonna run again, and this is gonna be our second prompt. By the way, I hope you are having a great day today. Me on my end, it's Saturday. I love this day because there's no one at the office, literally alone. It's 30 minutes past 12. It's a great day. Great day. Okay, let's see our first prompt. Right, I'm ready to present my findings, and we will have the findings. If you want to pause this and read it, you can. I'm not going to use it, so I'm not going to read everything for now, only at the end. And the inner monologue. Okay. Let me explain to you what I don't like here. So you see how it's this researcher presenting his findings instead of the actual monologue. I want the actual monologue. So I can share with you an example of what I'm trying to optimize for, so you can understand. And then we're gonna redo this prompt. So for example, I want like this, so it's actually the person speaking. So we'll come here. I want you to then place yourself in the position of our ICP and provide me with a full inner monologue of 300 words, for example. And if this, by the way, another way you can test, if you don't want to run it all, you can just right click, run this module only, who is your ICP, so this individual right here, and what problem do they have. It will just run this one. This will be extremely viable. For example, if you are doing a big one like me, like this, you don't want to run this all just to see the input, for example, of female flows. Therefore, you just do this, run this module only and see what the output is. See, it's taking a while. Let's wait for it while we see what our next prompt will be. Okay, actually we did this into 2 prompts. Okay, so now we're gonna do this one. Okay, I know what to do. I'm gonna pause it until we get the output. Okay, let's take a look at it. Okay, taking on the persona. Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Can you see it? Okay, yes you can. Got another sleepless night. I can't believe it's been 6 months since Dad passed away and left me in charge of the company. 6 months and I still feel like I'm drowning every single day. So this is exactly what we want. Most of my friends are still figuring out how to do their own laundry, and here I am responsible for hundreds of employees. It's too much. What if I screw this up? Okay. This is wonderful. It's actually better than the one I had previously, so after this I'm gonna redo my prompts. Okay, so now we want to see, for example, how this ICP would present this to his best friend over a coffee, because people talk about their problems differently if they are in silent, talking to their best friend, talking to their mentor, talking to their boss, talking to their wife, their mother, or their son. So we want to see all those different ways. If you're not new to the channel, you know that this is a prompt that I like a lot. Okay, so let's see. You're providing. Okay, you have been tasked with. Okay. You've been tasked with listening in to our ICP confessing and talking about his problem with his most confident, with his best friend over a coffee, and provide me a transcript of how he expresses his pain. I want a full transcript of 3000 words. Keep in mind, our ICP fully trusts this friend and isn't afraid to hold anything back. And now we can copy the information . Okay, we're gonna rename it coffee scene. And by the way, something that you can be aware of. So for example, I could put here, this is the inner monologue the ICP had with himself. Now I'll put here the inner monologue. Okay, that's something you can do as well. You can use this output as an input in this as well, and you can use this output in an input. I think this makes sense. So this output you can use as an input here. I can show you example in ICP inner monologue here. Okay, I didn't do it in this one, but in unaware problem VSL. Okay, yes. So I used the information from the Google form, but I also use the inner monologue of the ICP talking about this problem. And this is where you see like creativity and experience coming into play. So you know, okay, I need this input, I need these 4 inputs. Let's just run it while I'm ranting. I'm ranting, but it's an important rant. You can use steps and outputs that have already been done into as an input in the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Okay, and let's see how this looks. I'm going to pause again. Okay, we're almost there. There we go. And we have our first prompt, our second prompt, then our new prompt. Okay, and now we're gonna see these outputs in a bit in a Google Doc, which is gonna be our next step. So if we come back to here, what have we done so far? We captured the user's input. We have built a process to get information and transfer it to our large language models. We have processed, I don't know how to say the word, processed the information using large language models. In this case, we only did 3. Now we want to send it to the user. Okay, and for this, we're gonna use Google Docs. I'm gonna create a very simple Google Doc, and let me just write this: test for YouTube, and test for YouTube, test YouTube. And in this document you will access to the research we did about the ICP you provided us with. Now this is where the magic starts to happen as well. For context, the ICP we've done research about, and we're gonna place a placeholder ICP, the problem that ICP has. Let's put this as a 13. Let's boom, and now I'm going to explain this. First of all, we want to go. Now let me put the full placeholders. What we are doing here is these placeholders will be replaced by outputs, but we want to explain the context. So for example, if I show you an introduction to cold email, I wrote an introduction, subject lines to test, and then all the outputs will go like this. So if you remember my build, do I still have it open? I do not, but I can show you here on Miro. We have one cold email here, another one, 1, 2, 3. We have the 5 cold emails, and all the outputs will come here. But this part is templated, okay? So everyone will receive this information. And then it's up to you. Do you want to write information? Do you not want to write? Do you just want the person to have the output? I like to put them pretty because, yeah, my reputation is on the line. Okay, so let me remember what I did here. So, okay, analysis about the ICP, inner monologue, and ICP confessing to a friend. Now let me H2 these motherfuckers. Analysis, inner monologue. If you're confused, wait 2 minutes because this is gonna make sense. Confessing. Okay. Oops. Okay, now let me make this make sense to you. Gonna come here, you're gonna add the next step, which will be Google Doc. So Google Doc module, and you will create a document from a template. Okay, we're gonna choose the document that we just created, so test YouTube. We're gonna title it test. You have to create a new folder, and now ICP. This is this one. Problem do they have? They have this problem. Analysis, it's this one. Inner monologue, it's this one, and it's this one. Keep in mind, this will work at scale. So doesn't matter what, keep this in mind, doesn't matter who the user is, so who the ICP is, what problem they have, the relevant information will always come here. Okay, so this will never be the same, 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 but the full document will always be the same. Okay, and now if we run it again, okay, I can just run this module like this so I can show you, because I don't want to run it all because it takes quite a bit of time. So what problem do they have? And now I think this is the first one, if I'm not mistaken. It should be. I'm just gonna copy this so I can show you, and this I'm gonna copy it as well. Don't need to copy it all to make my point. We're gonna copy this as well. Okay, and what this will do is create a Google Doc link, which you will want to access it via web view link. Okay, And as you can see, so if we compare them both, okay, what if I do it like this? By the way, a quote for you to keep in mind always too. Doesn't matter if you're having a good day or a bad day, this too shall pass. Okay? So be grateful for the situation you're in right now, because it too shall pass. Okay, and now let's look at them side by side. So the ICP we've done research about, and the answer we put on the Google form will come here. The problem that ICP has comes here as well, and then all of this comes here. Okay. Now we will want to format this better, because this is not very well formatted. So for example, let me put this as Montserrat and ask it to format and space your answer properly so it's not a big wall of text. Okay, I'm going slowly and I'm not gonna put edits in this because I know it takes a while for someone to understand. You're still processing what we did, so that's okay. But let's recap again what we've done up until this point. We've captured the user information on a Google form. We have processed it via large language models, and now we have added it to a templated Google document so we can present the output in a way that it's easy to digest, let's say. And now what do we want to do before we go further with the outputs? Because for example, now we can do that right now. Actually, we can create, I'm gonna get prompts. I'm not gonna write prompts from scratch because it's theory here. It's not about me showcasing my prompting skills. Let's say now we want to create a copy. So for example, headlines and hooks based on this information, because now we have very good intel about our ICP, and then we want to add it to the Google Doc. This is how we would do it. So I'm gonna literally copy this one, so this module. I'm gonna put it here. Okay, and now I'm gonna need to do something. So the avatar, the user helps, and the problem they have, and the inner monologue, and how we fix that problem. Okay, so I'm gonna add an input here. How do you fix that problem? Just so I can show you headlines for this ICP. Okay, so we won't use this. So I'm just replacing the inputs. The prompt is here. So now I need to run this module again so that the how can you fix that problem appears in my large language model. Here we go. How we fix that problem. Not that I know how to fix it. Okay, and now if we come here, okay, I'm gonna run all of this again, but first I'm gonna add here headlines. Okay, this is what I meant at the start. You can add as many outputs as you want, provided that you know what you are doing. In this case, the prompt is already validated by me. Now I would add headlines here. Okay, and we're gonna run this, and responses. Okay, how do we fix this problem? We acquire the company for him and train him as a CEO as a part of our 12-month program, for example. And now I'm gonna pause this. Okay, so now if we go here, see the document that was generated. Let's see first if the formatting worked. Okay, so now it's spaced properly, and I'll just scroll down here. So it's important to have the H2 so your user can just see what it's meaning. And the headlines, here they are. Okay, so now if you look here, where are we? We want to send it as an email. For this, before sending it to an email, we have to give access to the user. Because in this case, this is going to be for my email. But if it's for another email, he won't have access, because this Google Doc, if we go here, it's my Google Doc and it's restricted. So we have to give access to the document. And for this, we're gonna take advantage of Google Drive, get a share link, and I'm gonna use my email. And now on the file ID, we're gonna put document ID, email address. So what email are we gonna give access to? And this is where this input comes in. So what is your email? And we can send a notification email. Keep this as it is, and there we go. And now we're gonna send an email. So you'll just use this built-in tool, email, and we are going to send an email. Subject line, test 1 2 3. Hello sir, this is your document. And now I'm gonna kind of cheat here, because I don't want it to just be a drive link like this. I want it to hyperlink, and I don't know how to actually write. I know it's a ref with some weird things, but I'm just gonna copy it from here. Okay, and this is your document. And what are we gonna put? This share link here. Okay, so we're gonna remove this. We're gonna add this here, which this is line breaks. We're gonna add a recipient, and we're gonna send it to what is your email. And there we go. And now if we run this one last time, what is your email? I'm gonna put my email. Who is your ICP? How do you fix the problem? What problem do they have? And now all of this is going to run. Okay, and we can see here a test has happened, because as you saw, I changed my Google Drive account, but I did not change my email account. This is why it's important. This is why I like make.com, is that it shows you the email right on the spot. So if we go and run it again, let's put this email here. Now it should work. Okay, I'm gonna pause it again. Okay, it has finished running. If we go here, we'll say hello sir, this is your document, and we would have the document. Now, how does this work at scale, which is what we are interested in? Once you are done with it, you're gonna turn this on. Now we're gonna do a test, which is we're gonna create 3. Can you create 5 fictional pairs for who is your ICP, how you fix that problem, and what problem do they have. I'm gonna create a few fictional ones, because keep in mind this is static, we won't change this. Okay, so let's do it like this. Who is your ICP? I should have asked it to space it. And what problem do they have? Okay, so first one, this is now, imagine you have put it on and your team is running it. I want to see how now you don't have to do anything, because this would be your team filling in these inputs. Second one, third one, let's just do 4. So one more, because we don't have all day. Time is money. Who is your ICP? What problem do they have? And it doesn't matter if I'm placing in the correct things or not, but now if I go here to scenarios and I don't want to pause it so you can see this live, but you can see, yeah. So 2 scenarios are actively running, and we should be getting the third and fourth one very, very soon. And while we do, I'm gonna exactly the third one. Now let's look into more theory. What did we do here? First one is gonna be an analysis of the ICP with the information that was provided in the Google form. The second one will be the inner monologue. Then how would he explain this information to a friend, and then headlines. But you could come here and you could put cold emails here, VSLs here, hooks, or sell scripts, or DM scripts, or create me, give me parameters to find this ICP on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, for example. All of this, like you saw here. Now, as I told you, it's up to your expertise and creativity into what you built. And now, for example, we should have gotten the first one, yes, the first 2 ones in Gmail. Let's wait for the third and the fourth one to complete. I'll show you it, and then we'll conclude this video, because I have other activities that I need to go do. Okay, so the third one, if we come here, we would have seen, so we can remove this, the 4 emails, and each one of them will be unique in its own way. And this is it for today's video. I wish you a pleasant day.